But I do want to move on to a more serious topic because for years, Ann suffered from mysterious symptoms and unexplained health conditions that her doctors were puzzled by. The cause for her illnesses, they were unknown until one specialist discovered something that is almost too hard to believe. In a doctor's exclusive, this is Ann's story.
My name is Ann. I started modeling around the age 15. I did some commercials, I did some print ads. I had one breast larger than the other though. And when I was 20, I ended up getting breast implants. I loved them, but I had no idea of this nightmare that was coming. Within 6 months of getting the saline breast implants, I started getting these strange headaches. It felt like water was sitting on top of my brain. Then I started getting upper respiratory infection. My joints were starting to swell. My vision was starting to act up.
At first, I thought she was crazy. Then she saw doctor after doctor after doctor, and nobody could figure out why she was going through this stage.
I have liver pain, my stomach hurts all the time, my boob hurts, my left breast is bigger than the right again. Then I started getting cysts on my ovaries, and they ended up doing a complete hysterectomy on me, and then my voice just went.
She couldn't talk. She'd write down whatever she wanted to say. To see her go from 100% to laying flat on her back, just miserable. And it's just heartbreaking.
I was hugging my children and loving on them as much as I could because I really thought I wouldn't be here anymore. When I woke up to do my self-exam, I couldn't find my implant. I go to my mammogram and she says, I can confirm it's ruptured. I had mold on the inside of my implants as well as the outside, including some of my breast tissue. Mold dumped into my body when the implant ruptured, going throughout my entire system. This had to be what was wrong with me, because if it wasn't, I was going to die.
In a doctor's exclusive, Ann joins us now. Welcome. I know you've been through a lot to be up here on stage. When this all happened and you figured out what was going on or seemed to be going on, was it really hard to believe?
Once I found out it was mold growing in my breast implants, it was a nightmare. That's gross. That explains why when I sweat, I stink, and why I'm sitting there throwing clothes away because I can't get the nastiest smell out of them.
How do you feel now?
How do I feel now? I still have a lot of pain, nerve pains. I still have numb fingers.
Breasts, or?
Mostly in my upper back. It goes right into my brain. My hands and feet are still numb. I have joint pains in my hip, my lower spine, and I have vein issues and breathing issues.
And when were they removed?
2 years ago, October 31st.
So, I mean, Drew, I have a question.
We have these implants. This is one side, this is the other side. Now, I have never seen mold grow like this on the exterior of an implant. Now, you have to understand that once the mold is there, it's going to continue to stay there in this case. I have seen this where you get contamination of saline. We fill these in surgery. There's a valve system. You can get contamination into that sterile saline and mold will grow. And obviously there was some sort of contamination, I'm guessing, in the process of doing it.
It's interesting when you talk about mold. We often talk about mold being this hidden health danger in our homes. It's behind your drywalls. You don't see it. You never think, well, it's right behind your breast tissue. So this is such a unique story, quite frankly, one I had never heard of.
Well, after 4 years of dealing with mold issues, a former resident of Mechanicsville is speaking out tonight.
8 News spoke with a resident who says she now has health issues from mold exposure at an apartment there. 8 News reporter Sarah Molina joins us live in the Digital Center. After speaking with her, Sarah, how's she doing now?
Well, Deanna, 39-year-old Christina Cardea tells me she's been in Miltrace Village Apartments for 4 years, living with her boyfriend and one unwanted guest, mold. She says each time she contacted the leasing office, it was never handled properly.
Yeah, it's almost killed me. It was literally killing me.
Christina Cardea says she and her boyfriend moved into the Mechanicsville apartment complex in 2020, immediately noticing signs of mold.
When I tasted it in the ice, I knew immediately that there was mold in the ice machine.
But it wasn't until February of this year when it became an issue with management and the beginning of Cardea's health issues.
I had pneumonia about 6 times over the past 2 years, numerous sinus infections, ear infections. Last year my ear canal ruptured, and now I have permanent lung damage. I have COPD, stage 2, almost stage 3, and I'm only at 15% lung capacity now.
Cardea says she had no pre-existing conditions except allergies, and after seeing a doctor at Patient First for over a year, he determined her illnesses are all symptoms of mold exposure.
This is the mold that we just found in our bedroom.
After missing multiple days from work to her illnesses, she says Milltrace management told her she could break the lease early if she had a doctor's note. But
well, I can't accept this. Anybody at Patient First could have written the doctor's note for you. And it was very offensive because I've been in the medical field 15 years, and I was like, you can't just deny a doctor's note.
A chain of emails shared with 8 News shows management's attempts to remedy Cardea's apartment in February, June, and August.
It was done wrong, like our stuff was exposed. We had to throw everything out.
And when she asked the complex for the workers' credentials, no response was given.
I was literally dying. And being 39 years old, that's a really hard pill to swallow.
I did reach out to Milltrace Village Apartments, but they did not provide a comment. Cardea says she was able to break the lease 2 months early, but now she and her boyfriend say they plan to take legal action against the complex. Live in the Digital Center, Sarah Molina, 8 News.
All right. On the outside of the Oak Hill Apartments, there's a huge problem everyone can see with their own eyes, this dangling balcony. But it's what the tenants can't see on the inside that's causing greater problems.
Can't really avoid breathing, so unfortunately I think that I'm having some sort of an allergic reaction to the mold issue.
What is your primary concern at this point?
Probably the health of my children, mostly.
When this woman moved into her apartment earlier this year, she says the place was disgusting and it hasn't gotten any better. She says she's notified management about green algae and filth accumulating on the balcony, and the bacteria visible in the toilet bowl, plus the fuzz that multiplies daily in the petri dish, proves the unhealthy conditions in which she and her young children are living.
Honestly, I don't even know what the solution is. I have to probably get out of this apartment soon.
How long are you willing to live here under these conditions?
Not much longer.
The mold spores were unbelievable. It grew like crazy.
Lori Mann moved out of Oak Hill earlier this year. She says both she and her husband were sickened by their living conditions. When she sent her petri dishes to be analyzed, the results showed high levels of black mold and fungal spores. She says she notified management more than a year ago.
And then when I heard that the balconies fell off, that was scary. And I was just, wow, what's going on with this place?
45 current tenants received a notice just over a week ago telling them to keep off their balconies and stay out of the garages until structural engineers give them the green light. At this point, some people are growing tired of waiting.
Tonight, Bellevue renters are demanding answers for water damage and possible mold issues.
One woman told our Sharon Dankwa an inch of water has been standing in her apartment for weeks now.
Going through this mess, it's so nasty.
Rhonda Ogborn says this used to be her home office. She says it's been filled with about an inch of water for weeks.
It goes all the way to over here. And then it runs this way. I'll go down here. One day I was in my office and I seen water in the floor. And I was like, well, where's this water coming from?
She put in a maintenance request on the Arrive Bellevue community app, called the office, sent them an email, and put in a ticket with Metro codes.
But it turned out to be the hot water heater. No one came out for weeks. And it just kept getting worse and worse and worse.
And when someone finally showed up, they cleared out the water and said at some point a plumber would come in and fix the issue. But that was weeks ago.
We have holes in the wall, a leaking hot water heater area, and that's where it's at. right now.
And Rhonda isn't the only one dealing with constant flooding and possible mold. She says she's heard countless complaints from other neighbors.
This was when I found it yesterday, so not even a full 24 hours yet, and it had already grown.
Taylor Hart says for months she's had multiple leaks and plumbing issues in her unit, and now she believes this could be black mold.
Because they told me yesterday that it wasn't an emergency, coming from someone who's allergic to mold.
The black and green substance spread to her backpack, pillows, and walls before she says maintenance crews came in to paint over it. I reached out to Arrive Bellevue for answers, but I didn't hear back.
You have got to do something about this. Either fix it, give me my deposit back, all of it, or move me to another unit. I can't live in this. And nothing.
Both Rhonda and Taylor are trying to move out. For WSMV4, I'm Sharon Dankwa.